That's a big silver Roman coin.
KG and Ringy Quick Hitter.
Vortex VX9. As the Vortex Tour was wrapping up this fall, KG and I were in England with a contingent of other Team Garrett testers at a couple of events and private hunts, all armed with the latest VX9 prototypes, and we were thrilled to see some huge progress being made. In addition to some incredible finds, including another museum piece for me, I'll share my personal settings and favorite features with you here, as well as what I learned about the VX9 in the field, both good and bad. Let's dive right in. First off, I know there have been factory delays for a multitude of reasons. Yeah, that's a bad thing. It's obviously frustrating and not ideal for those of you on the wait list, but if it helps at all, I'm pretty sure this thing is going to be worth the wait. As you'll see here in a few minutes, the machine is pretty much done and has some amazing additions suggested by real users like yourselves. Regardless, I feel your pain. I myself would love to complete the testing on the VX9 version of my favorite coil, the 5x8, but I'll just have to wait until that's ready along with the rest of you. On the bright side, it'll all get done, and 2025 should be an amazing inaugural year for Vortex users worldwide. That said, let's talk about the good, the awesome, and the amazing. Anyone who's followed us over the years knows that we won't seriously detect without our trusty AT Maxes, and after testing my fourth version of the VX9, I can honestly say that I'm 99% sure I'll be making the finished Vortex my main all-around machine. Last spring, when testing the very first version of the prototype at about 30% complete, I wasn't so sure, but things have definitely changed. We've tested these bad boys in Europe, Australia, England, and finished up with the latest version in Chicago a week or so ago, finding a plethora of natural finds in a target-rich environment even without the 5x8 coil I've been whining like a baby about for the past 6 months. Probably the most amazing thing I discovered about the VX9 in England caused me to give my machine its new nickname, the Blue Warbler. I knew the engineers said that the Vortex would be way faster than the AT Max, and while I didn't doubt them, I thought, why would I need anything faster? The Max is great the way it is. Well, here's why. While hunting a stubble field near a roadside that was littered with can slaw, I began noticing that without looking at the screen, I could tell the difference between aluminum scraps and something perfect like a coin with almost 100% accuracy. The recovery is so fast that you can literally hear the shape of things. Does that make sense? The warbling sound results from the jagged or irregular shape of the can slaw bits, and the smooth, sweet tones, even though they might have the same pitch or note, are very different. While I still dug most of those signals just in case, it was fascinating to be able to predict them. I've already gone over how amazing the thing is on saltwater beaches in Australia in the last quick hitter, so we'll move on to another cool feature that was just added. If you listen to this mid-tone coin and then this healthy non-rusted bottle cap, they sound identical and display almost identically at 52 or 53. However, if you run this new bottle cap feature up to, say, 5 and leave everything else the same, look what happens. The coin sounds exactly the same, nice and smooth, and the bottle cap sounds choppy and ugly like iron. How cool is that? That's just one of a truckload of cool things this new machine can do. But I thought it was kind of cool and wanted to share. There's a really good in-depth video on the Garrett YouTube channel about this bottle cap rejection feature in case you want more details on it. There's also a thin coin mode that's designed to highlight thin hammered silver and bronze coins, which is nice for specific situations, but I'm not sure I'll use it very often, as I like to hear everything going on above the iron level, especially in English farm fields. And since we're on the subject, I'll show you exactly how I set up my VX9 for those recent UK hunts. So that I can hear everything, I run it in the regular multi-frequency setting coupled with the 0 mode, and that way, nothing escapes the coil. One of the greatest things Garrett added to recent machines was creating a separate volume control for iron, which I set all the way down at 1 so I can hear the grunting when I walk through a patch of nails or something, but it's barely audible so it doesn't drive me crazy. while the good signals stand out with the regular volume control so there's no confusion. With that setup and the standard coil, I was able to pick out a couple of small medieval or Tudor period hammered silver coins and a bunch of other coins from the 1800s, including this awesome little 1859 silver threepence. I also turned up a medieval pot leg on the very first hole of the trip, and later on a silver bracelet and all this other stuff. However, that was just the tip of the iceberg. My 10-year run of crazy luck in England continued with this 2,132-year-old silver Roman denarius coin.
Nobody's digging any holes or anything, and we were just kind of heading back toward our packs, and I got an 83 on the Vortex. Look at that. That's a silver Roman coin.
It's Republican. It'll be BC.
And that's about when the dinosaurs went extinct, right?
It might be.
The best Roman coin of my life, featuring the mythological Gemini twins Castor and Pollux on the reverse with their horses. This pre-imperial coin predates Julius Caesar's invasion of England and made the hair on the back of my neck stand up when I first saw it.
I believe the provenance on this is quite agreeable, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it's 2,132/33.
Oh, yes, we pinned it down to within 6 months. Oh, the provenance. Oh, provenance, yes. And here we have Danny and Gus in the background for verification. The provenance is just spectacular.
107 or 108 BC. Shocker. And if that weren't enough, after picking a pocket full of small musket balls and round balls, I was able to separate this tiny ball of gold out of the lead-filled field, which will surely end up in a museum somewhere as official treasure from the Tudor period, quite possibly made during the reign of Henry VIII. It's the decorative end of a hairpin or dress pin from that era with amazing gold rope craftsmanship, very similar to these examples. I'm happy when I dig things made of gold. So anyway, once the 5x8 coil is finished and the machine is released, I'll do another Vortex test review video to let you know if my favorite coil works as well in junky areas on the VX9 as it does on the Max. But with what I've experienced with the latest version, I don't see why it wouldn't be as good or better. I guess the best summary of the VX9 performance for me is the simple fact that I'm now planning to travel to the next few public and private events without my AT Max security blanket. That's a pretty big step for me. It was yet another incredible trip, and we can't fail to mention all the awesome folks attending and running the Rodney Cook Memorial and Just Detect events. I think the RCM event raised a new record high amount for cancer research, something we're proud to be a continuing part of. Thanks to everyone that came into the Garrett tents and test gardens to try out the new Vortex, and congrats to the most recent VX9 winners, both there in England and in Chicago. As usual, it was great to see all our overseas friends, old and new alike, as this year's fun bus wound its way through the English countryside. It's a grueling, rigorous, and serious job, but with the help of the rest of Team Garrett, KG and I were up to the task, forging diligently ahead toward new treasure-laden horizons. The storm is nearly upon us. Spader alligator, ringy out.
Quick hitter.